Budget session of the federal parliament is set to begin this afternoon. However, people at large do not appear enthusiastic regarding the government's upcoming policies and programs, as they are a witness to the fact that the previous policies and programs failed to produce anything significant, mainly due to the lack of adequate homework and preparation before unveiling them. Good morning, I am Praram Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Fourth session of the federal parliament begins today. Government to present its policies and programs on the 3rd of May. Development projects as per the previous policies and programs remain disappointing. Encroachment of public lands continues unabated, mainly due to the lack of unified records of public properties with the governments, mainly attributed to nexus between staff and land mafias. The fourth phase of the gigantic Lok Sabha elections kicks off in India in 72 parliamentary constituencies spread across 9 states. And Virgil van Dijk wins the PFA Player of the Year award. Manchester City win to go to the top of the EPL table. Chelsea held at 1-0 by Manchester United. The fourth session of the federal parliament begins today. Policies and programs of the government are to be presented at the session, which is also known as the budget session. Based on the president's call, the meetings of the House of Representatives and the National Assembly are scheduled to begin at 4 p.m. later this afternoon. The Federal Parliamentary Secretariat has informed that based on the timetable, President Bhandari is scheduled to present the government's policies and programs at the joint meeting of the Federal Parliament on the 3rd of May. The government's policies and programs will be endorsed following presentation and discussions during this session. According to the Constitution, budget for the new fiscal year should be presented on the 29th of May. Meanwhile, the implementation of the development projects as per the previous policies and programs has remained disappointing. The failure in implementation of the government's policies and programs has been attributed to the lack of adequate homework and their inconsistency with the annual budget. The ruling coalition has 2/3 majority at the parliament. It has already been 18 months since the formation of the government. The people at large, however, have not been able to experience good governance. Instead of assurance of rule of law and security, the cases of moderate to high-profile corruption along with irregularities have been making headlines. However, the main opposition, Nepali Congress, that is responsible of keeping vigilance against the government's wrongdoings and weaknesses, has not even been able to make its presence felt at the parliament. Nepali Congress has remained mum in a number of serious issues that has not only questioned the government's capability but its intention as well. The issues include rape and murder of girl child Nirmala Phanta, blatant encroachment of public land at Balwatar with the involvement of the General Secretary of the ruling party itself, illegal construction of infrastructures in Tudikhel's public land, corruption cases involving high-ranking government officials, and gold smuggling amounting to millions of rupees, among others. The opposition has so far never spoken on any of these issues, let alone other pending issues like serious violation of human rights by former government and security officials. Instead of closely scrutinizing the government's activities and ensuring that it fulfills the people's aspirations, Nepali Congress has remained persistently busy in the intra-party wrangling. Instead of speaking on the people's behalf, the party's senior leaders have been seeking chance to take hold of leadership by bolstering their respective factions. Despite having a long parliamentary experience, Nepali Congress has remained as a weak opposition. This would not only leave way to the government to fructify its unilateral motives, but also risk Nepali Congress having an uncertain journey in the country's politics in the days ahead. The government does not even have unified statistics of the total government and public lands across the country. The issue regarding the security of public property has itself plunged into uncertainty due to the lack of proper investigation in this regard. After the revelation of the encroachment of public land in Balwatar, the state authority has pledged to maintain records of public properties across the country. The government, however, has hardly made any effort in this regard. Although it is said that there are millions of legal records regarding private, public and government lands across the country, the government does not have any joint statistics on them. Despite repeated instances of the encroachment of public lands, the recent one at the capital's Khula Manch at Ratna Park, the government has yet to make concrete efforts to identify the public properties. The government thus does not have any knowledge about the extent of the encroached public properties due to not having any proper records. The infringement of public lands has continued for years, mainly due to illicit nexus between the government staff and land mafias. The number of people suffering from diseases like cancer and kidney-related ailments are on the rise. However, due to the treatment charges being expensive and the lack of adequate fund provided by the government for the treatment of such life-threatening diseases, patients have been deprived of receiving necessary medical treatment. Suresh Pokhrel of Kavre is just 19 years old. At an age when a person dreams of having fun and enjoying life, Suresh is fighting for his life with cancer. Suresh, who has been admitted at the Tribhuvan University Teaching Hospital in Maharajganj for the last 2 months, is suffering from blood cancer. Although 900,000 rupees have already been spent for his treatment, doctors have said that an additional 2.2 million rupees would be needed for his further treatment. However, his family is not able to afford this huge amount of money for his treatment. His father, Tek Prasad, who works in Dubai, sends 35,000 rupees from which the family survives on. Likewise, Apsara Surkheti of Panoti is also a cancer patient. More than 500,000 rupees have been spent for her cancer treatment in the past 2 years. More than 40,000 rupees is needed every month for her treatment. However, the family that depends on agriculture is hardly able to afford the treatment. These are a few cases among hundreds of cancer patients admitted at the hospital with no life assurance due to the lack of treatment expenses. The government has a program of providing an amount of 100,000 as grant to patients of cancer and other 8 life-threatening diseases. However, the amount is far too low to save a person's life from such diseases. It is now time for the international news. The fourth phase of the gigantic Lok Sabha election began today in India in 72 parliamentary constituencies spread across 9 states. Voting is underway in 5 seats of Bihar, 3 in Jharkhand, 6 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 17 seats in Maharashtra, 6 seats in Odisha, 13 each seats in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, 8 in West Bengal, and a part of Anantnag constituency in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Fourth phase of polling for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections on Monday is crucial for BJP as it will try to retain 45 of the 72 seats across 9 states going to the polls. NDA partners Shiv Sena and LJP had won 11 of them in the last elections. After the end of the fourth phase, polling would be completed in 373 of the 543 Lok Sabha seats. While this phase will mark the end of polling in Maharashtra and Odisha, the process will begin in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Jharkhand. The counting of votes for the 7th phase election, which ends on the 19th of May, would be held on the 23rd of May. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the public vehicle drivers and travelers traveling along the Prithvi Highway, how could road accidents be minimized? Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
Speed कम गर्नुपर्छ टर्निङमा ओभरटेक गर्न हुँदैन
आफ्नो साइड च्यापेर हिँड्ने अर्काको साइड नच्यापेर ओभरटेक हालेर नजाने
ट्राफिकहरुले के गर्दै हुन्थ्यो भन्ने मेरो विचार चाहिँ यस्तो बेला बेला ठाउँ ठाउँमा मोबाइल चेकिङ कहाँ कति चेकिङ थाहा नहोस् हैन चेकिङ गरेपछि अलिकति ट्राफिकहरु के नराम्रो लाग्छ मलाई भने चाहिँ पैसा दिएपछि उ सधैँ हुन्छ त्यो राम्रो कुरो होइन मेरो विचार
गाडीवालाले पनि त्यसलाई कुनै लापरवाही नगरिकन रामसँग गर्नु पर्यो भने हामी एज अ इन्डिभिजुअल कन्ट्रीको हामी एउटा मतलब बस्ने मान्छे नागरिक भइसकेपछि हाम्रो देशमा बनेको रुल्स एन्ड रेगुलेसनलाई हामीले पनि एज अ इन्डिभिजुअल चाहिँ राम्रोसँग इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्न सक्यौं भने चाहिँ सायद कम हुन सक्छ
चालक नै सचेत हुनु पर्यो चालककै लापरवाहीले धेरै दुर्घटना भएको अनि अर्को बाटोको कारण यो दुईटै कारण भयो भने दुईटा सल्युसन भयो भने यस दुर्घटना चाहिँ तपाईको 90% घट्छ
ट्राफिक नियम पालना गरेर त्यो अनुसार गर्यो भने दुर्घटना धेरै कम हुन्छ नि
पैदल यात्रीहरू अथवा हिँड्ने मान्छेहरू पनि सावधानीपूर्वक हिँड्यो भनेदेखि एक्सिडेन्ट कम हुन सक्छ
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what is your say on the government not having unified statistics of public land? Your options are A. Irresponsible government employees, B. Ill intentions, and C. Lack of resources. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and then send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. With this, let's move on to the sports news. 27-year-old Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk has won the Professional Footballers Association PFA Player of the Year award for 2018-19. A defender has won the PFA Player of the Year award for the first time since 2005. Liverpool defender Van Dijk saw Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Sergio Aguero, Sadio Mane and Eden Hazard in the vote by his fellow players. Manchester City forward Sterling won the men's Young Player prize. Van Dijk succeeds Liverpool teammate Mohamed Salah, who won for 2017-18 and is the first defender to take the award since Chelsea centre-back John Terry in 2005. Viviane Miedema won the Women's Player of the Year award, while Georgia Stanway claimed the Women's Young Player prize. PFA Team of the Year includes 6 players from Manchester City, 4 from Liverpool and 1 from Manchester United. A mistake by goalkeeper David De Gea gifted Chelsea an equaliser as Manchester United's hopes of playing in next season's Champions League faded at Old Trafford. With United leading through Juan Mata's goal against his former club, David De Gea spelled Antonio Rudiger's 30-yard attempt for Marcos Alonso to level shortly before the interval. It was a costly error by the Spaniard, whose form has come under scrutiny in recent weeks, although De Gea did come to his side's rescue deep in stoppage time to deny Gonzalo Higuain a dramatic winner. Up until Chelsea's equaliser, United had been in control, yet they remained 6th in the table, 3 points behind 4th place Chelsea with 2 games to play after a 3rd successive league game without a win. Meanwhile, Manchester City stand just 2 victories away from retaining their Premier League title after Sergio Aguero's second-half goal gave them a scrappy victory over Burnley at Turf Moor. Aguero's 64th minute goal, bundled in and given via goal line technology despite Matthew Lowton's attempted clearance, summed up much of City's performance as Burnley's organisation and resilience threatened to keep them out. Gabriel Jesus had another effort kicked off the line by Ben Mee, and while Burnley rarely threatened, City knew only victory would do or the initiative would be handed back to Liverpool. It was duly secured with a 12th successive league win. Now on to Spain. Real Madrid have suffered yet another defeat at the Spanish La Liga. Los Blancos were stunned 1-0 by Rayo Vallecano. Adri Embarba scored the only goal of the match in the 23rd minute to secure Vallecano's surprise win over Real Madrid. Despite half a dozen attempts, Real Madrid failed to find the net, which has hurt the club's league table aspirations. At a time when Barcelona have already clinched the title, Real Madrid are likely to finish 3rd. Second place Atletico Madrid are 9 points ahead of Real Madrid. It is now time for a special segment of The Beat. President Bidyadevi Bhandari is currently on a state visit to China to take part in the Belt and Road Forum. During the inaugural session of the much-touted summit, President Bhandari addressed the dignitaries using her native language, Nepali. In the process, she not only maintained the dignity of our national language, but also surprised the political fraternity back home. The impact of the president's address is a different issue, but the country's foreign policy think tank must be saluted for this noble effort, especially in a country where our leaders repeatedly make the headline due to their inability to express themselves well in common international language, English. The Kathmandu metropolis on Saturday found itself quite busy as it jumped into action by demolishing illegally constructed shutters at the capital's open theatre, popularly known as Khula Manch. The place is not only a few open spaces remaining in an otherwise cramped capital, but also carries significant historical importance. It was a welcome relief to see the authority tearing down illegal structures as the valley denizens breathed a sigh of relief to see that for a change, the authority has heeded swiftly to their protest. Jean-Marie Unuke is working on his latest art piece at a center in Douala, Cameroon. Unuke has found an innovative way to turn the intrusive, fast-growing hyacinth weed into art. The artist first dries the hyacinth and then sticks the dried weeds on his canvas to create subjects that include landscapes and animal forms. The 67-year-old self-taught artist says he likes to give his work a natural finish, which means he does not add paint to his pieces. His artwork sells for about $100 and above, depending on the size and complexity of the piece. Water hyacinth remains a tenacious weed in various African countries. The large violet flowers form a floating mat that chokes marine life and reduces fish population. Instead of removing these plants and throwing them away as waste, artists here process them into interesting products and manure for farming. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.